All right, let's talk about reliability in cars for a second. Now, let me just tell you, I've been driving for 30 years, and I've driven Toyotas, Nissans, Hondas, Jeeps, Buicks, pickups, small cars, big cars. And there's one thing that remains a theme. The Japanese are whipping our asses. And I say that it doesn't need to be. Now, I know it's hard. It must be hard. I mean, it's a huge project to make a car, no question about it. And I know that if Ford, Chevy, or General Motors manufacturers could snap their fingers and make a car that was as reliable as a Japanese car, they probably would. Maybe. Because I'll tell you something else. Even though I can't prove it, it looks to me like the whole thing, from buying the car itself, parts, repairs, it's all a big scam to waste your time and money. A big scam to waste your life messing with stuff and collecting a profit from things that don't necessarily need to break. Now I realize some of it, of course, is going to be natural wear and tear, things that you need to replace, and so forth. But what I began to realize, at the point where mechanics can't even figure out what's wrong with your car, like if you know what it is, great. But when you have a problem and it's intermittent, and then you can't bring it in to the mechanic and figure out what it is until the thing is so wasted it breaks down on you in the middle of traffic in downtown LA or something. So it looks like it almost looks like they're trying to siphon money off of people. And I've commented on this before, and that's what it looks like to me. It looks like a scam, you know, built-in obsolescence, or, you know, some sort of thing where they make it last just long enough so that people don't just go, well, you know, I'm not going to buy this brand. And the things that I think about it, because I also realized this about the camcorder industry, how they cut out the thing where you can see the time and date so that the ordinary people can't get proof of, you know, things like gang stalking and different kinds of crime, is that the demonic realm has complete control over industry. So that means that Satan has control over everything, okay? So that even though it seems like, you know, well, individual companies and interests, you know, and they want to improve their product, yeah, but I think that they have control, and that's one reason. See, there's a lot of things that you understand when you understand the spiritual realm, how it has a cause and effect, that where there's something that happens in the spirit realm, and then it takes some time, and that's why you don't realize it, but then later on it occurs in the physical realm. Of course, the other reason you don't realize it is because you can't even see it. They can see us, we can't see them. But that all aside, still there is the human element. And the human element, as we can see it in terms of driving cars, is this: that the Japanese, their culture in particular, is what I believe allows them to make a better product. And it's because I think they have a sense of finesse and art to their work that Western or white European American people don't have. Just don't have that as part of the culture, and then it doesn't filter down into things like taking meticulous care to pay attention to these details because you love them for their beauty. Okay, that's my theory about it, is that's a main reason why you get Japanese whipping us on this. So, but what can you do about that? Well, it's hard to do anything about it, and I think there's a lot of things where, you know, it's like, well, nothing's going to change until the kingdom of God. But I think that we could do something about it. I think we could close the gap anyway, because it's not just the reliability of the vehicles, it's the way they look as well. They just they look better. They just all around kind of function in a more common sense way. Whereas with American stuff, and Ford's been improving, as Scotty Kilmer detailed on. If you haven't checked him out, check out the Scotty Kilmer channel if you want a good, common sense, knowledgeable mechanic dude. He gives it to you straight. He even says that the most reliable cars, best cars, are Toyotas, followed by Hondas, followed by Ford. There's like his top recommendations. He has a whole list of, if you check out his channel, he's got this whole list of cars you shouldn't buy, manufacturers you shouldn't buy from. He really gives it dirt. He's probably you know, in these top 10 most hated lists. So that's how you know he's giving it to you straight. Because the real truth is that American car manufacturers don't want you to know is that, in my experience, a lot of times when you're doing things that are more interesting and important than worrying about car repairs, your American car will have a problem. Right now, with my Jeep Grand Cherokee 1995, it won't pass smog, and I've replaced everything that it could possibly be except the engine. And my current theory now, and of course I've had a lot of grand, brilliant theories that I've done all kinds of internet research, chat rooms and everything, my current theory is that the engine is dirty. That's the problem. It's just got a bunch of buildups because it's suffering from slight, not really overheating, but the temperature is far from nominal, so it really is, you know, burning hotter than it should, running hotter than it should, and also it gets a rough idle when I start it up, you know. So I think it's that it's dirty, but the problem is all kinds of stuff went wrong with this car, from electrical stuff. Cost me $400 to fix this wiring harness that went bad in the whole dashboard had to get taken apart, and when the guy was taking it apart, he caused there was damage to the car because apparently something went and also that same mechanic was working on my car, made a bunch of dents and scratches on this thing right here with something else the dashboard had to be taken apart for. And I've had Toyota pickups, Nissan pickups for the most part. Actually, more Toyota pickups. I have a Toyota pickup now, but it's on the front of my RV. And I can tell you, first of all, they hardly burn oil, okay? I'm talking about Toyotas. My Nissan burnt oil a little bit more, but it was very reliable. I had a Nissan pickup, 1989, and it was, I mean, I drove that thing for 11 years. Nothing hardly went wrong, except for basic like maintenance stuff that you have to replace anyway. You know, radiators rust out on occasion. You know, you got to replace starters. That's a wearable. But beyond that, I mean, it never broke down on me anywhere driving, and that's, you know, that's saying a lot, because usually you'll have one or two breakdowns where you're going to be, you know, you're going to have a tow truck tow you away, but never did with that Nissan pickup. And with my Toyotas, I can tell you, I know sometimes you might get a lemon, you know, some people complain, like the V6s, you get a complaint, but I always bought a 4-cylinder, and I mean, those things, you could just drive them and drive them and drive them, and they just wouldn't burn oil. And so I just gotta say that, you know, and altogether, they just kept running without problems. This Jeep here, okay, this is my mom's, okay, so she gave it to me when she left to live with my stepdad in Hawaii, and I can tell you, it has fully given me every problem under the sun that I never got from my Japanese cars. But I'll say this, in some ways I prefer it, because I had an unusual problem with my back, and any Toyota truck that I bought, or SUV, the up and down motion gave me a problem with my back. I even test drove a Toyota Sequoia, the biggest SUV Toyota makes. It's a big car. The guy wanted 10 grand for it, but I decided to go for a test drive and see if it gave me that back problem. Sure enough, not as bad as the Toyota truck, which I can't drive that thing 50 feet. I bought a 2001 Toyota truck, and I was really happy I got it. Well, I got a great deal. It's really good looking. Oh, I can't even drive it. without my back hurt, and that's unusual to me. But it was like the canary in the coal mine in terms of comfort, because this Jeep, for all of its problems, and it even is an SUV, so usually SUVs have a harder ride, but I can drive this thing forever and it doesn't give me back problems. My Nissan pickup, the 89, gave me major back problems. I finally realized why I'm so tired when I got to destinations. That thing, because it had torsion bars for the front, so the ride's even worse because the Toyota has a spring, whereas the Nissan had a torsion bar, so it's basically a bar that absorbs the front end impact. And I'll tell you, I just got major back. I started to figure out why I was getting these backaches. I'm like, man, I can't drive this thing anymore. Finally, that's why I sold it. Couldn't drive it anymore because as I got older, I just realized my back hurts every time I drive it. But that, again, that's unique to me. But that is also, something that you can gauge even if you don't have back problems. That for the heavier American car, and at least with the Jeep, you're getting some. I don't know about the later versions. It's like these newer ones here. But I can tell you with this one, this Grand Cherokee 1995, just your basic two-wheel drive. So he's got the four-wheel drive. This is the mama's car, two-wheel drive. But I mean, still, it's got a really smooth ride. I can drive this thing downtown, Riverside, anywhere, and it's really comfortable. I don't have any back problems whatsoever. So yeah, there's that, and that's one reason why I'm even still driving it, because I tried to buy several Japanese cars in the meantime and I couldn't. I even test drove a Toyota Previa because I was thinking, yeah, a Toyota minivan, but that was a 4-cylinder, and the lightness of that vehicle, sure enough, just went for a test drive afterwards, got that little soreness in my lower back. And so anyway, that was my problem. But again, you might use that if long-term comfort. And who knows, I was thinking that there's a possibility that a heavier car over the long run is better, because even if it doesn't feel uncomfortable as you're driving, that swaying up and down could be causing a back, long-term back problems that people don't realize is being caused by kind of a more general up and down motion. I don't know whether that's it or not, or maybe it's just the fact that the chassis on this Jeep here is a lot heavier, and that's why it just overall gives you a smoother ride. But I can tell you, I haven't replaced the shocks on this thing. Been driving around everywhere. It's got pretty much 200,000 miles on it, and it has not ceased in its comfort of driving.